I've been thinking about the curtain rod and how that pertains to our posture and what I want you to feel with your center line. And most importantly, when you're connecting the feet to the crown of the head. So with the curtain rod, I think is a great analogy. And as soon as you feel that connection and you put the curtain rod concept into your body and into that line, which really resides right in front of your spine and all the way to the crown of the head. So you're connecting your feet to the crown of the head. Now the curtain rod is spring-loaded. And what's important for you to understand, or me to delineate to you, is that we're not pushing against the surfaces. Some people think that you push down into the earth, and you know Master Ting was always saying, we don't push into the earth. And some people also think that you're pushing against the sky. It's different when I say you're holding up the sky. All it's doing is making a point of contact. So it has a point of contact, preferably a little bit below the earth with your feet, and the point of contact being the sky. And you're just using those 2 points of contact to create an internal structure with the expansion. You see, the curtain rod is spring-loaded, and it's actually expanding. Oh, this spring is really, really strong. It's expanding both directions. It's not just pushing down, and it's not just pushing up, and it's really not pushing, right? Pushing would be different. This is a spring load, so it's meeting the 2 contact points, and by the slight expansion of the spring-loadedness, that's such a word, it creates this internal structure. Now, we are much more dynamic than a curtain rod. So we can add more to that. We can lengthen the line. Our curtain rod, it can reach into infinity. It's not just a fixed item like this. But you always need to establish the 2 contact points. So if I try to just stretch into infinity, it's still empty. And I think that's, some people push down and they're too heavy. Some people try to stretch up and they're emphasizing the up. It's a perfect balance of contact and creating a long line, but remaining in contact with the crown of your head and the bottom of your feet. If I have the expansion without contact, then I don't have structure. The curtain rod would just fall off. In fact, you've seen that. You hang up your curtain rod and it falls down because the curtain's too heavy and you don't have enough surface contact. So you want the surface contact via expansion and lengthening in both directions in equal proportion. I think that's pretty clear. Did that make sense? Yeah? Okay, good. Now, what happens when you take your curtain rod and you are able to lengthen it by way of expansion is that our curtain rod becomes thinner and thinner and thinner. So at first I was really disappointed that the curtain rod I ordered was so little flimsy thin thing, but in reality it's a better example. If I had a big wide diameter curtain rod, it would be a little too obvious, too thick. So we want a nice narrow curtain rod, and the more we lengthen it, in other words, the more we create a distance between the 2 contact points, remaining in contact and having that point of contact, then the longer the line becomes. That's where we song our spine. That's the songing of the spine. And as this gets longer, I could just hear Master Ting saying it, it gets longer and longer and longer. Right? He talks about the center line getting longer and longer and longer. And all the lines, we have center lines throughout our body, in our arms and our legs. But one of the achievements or discoveries is how we can lengthen our internal line. And as we lengthen our internal line, we have more songing, more openness, and more presence. And then around that line, we create the softness. Because this is getting smaller and taking less space, then the space around you actually has more volume. And you're filling that with emptiness. And that's when you get that nice feeling of internal structure with a very thin line and yet a nice soft openness, and this is when you are really creating chi and can use this to move within. And that is the needle in the cotton. So your needle is thin, it's steel, so it still has structure. And then the softness around it is what the person who touches you, that's what they meet, is the softness. But inside of you, you still have your personal internal structure, and it's always expanding, never static. Okay? Then our final little visual is this is where I have resided for a long time. I don't anymore, but we tend to acquiesce to gravity. And so this would be, these are 2 bricks. And we place those on, and what happens? It scrunches down. Do you see that? And that's when we feel too heavy. That's when we're just using gravity and we're not counterbalancing it. So all the weight goes down, and many Tai Chi players are there. They feel really heavy. And they've mistaken that for rootedness, but that's not rootedness because it's not balanced. Okay, so we don't let all the chi sink down without also something rising up. And that's why the spring-loaded is such a great analogy, because there is an upward expression with gentle contact at the crown of your head and at your feet, and we're not allowing weight to take us over and to collapse us. No collapsing. Okay, so let's now try this and put this in simple movement. We're going to do just a few minutes of standing meditation, and this time your awareness during your standing meditation is that curtain rod. Really feel the connection, the 2 contact points, and that lengthening of the spring, both rising and sinking. And once you feel your spine start to open up, or your center line, or your curtain rod, however you want to access it in your mind, then I want you to begin wrapping it or inflating around it. You can inflate inside your body, or you can inflate the space around your body. And go to that place and feel that sensation. And then when you come back to standing meditation, you can try to go there again and cultivate that and refine it. And eventually it starts to happen quicker and more automatically. And then that comes into your Tai Chi and your Qigong. And every time we go into Wu Ji, this is what you're doing. So we're in Wu Ji right now with our feet apart. And just letting those muscles go and hang, that's the curtain, we could say, and then bring the curtain rod into your body, connecting the 2 contact points. And you can either distance the 2 contact points for creating a longer line, or you can just imagine space growing in between each vertebrae. And that lengthens your center line. Good. Now, if you have tension or something somewhere else in your body, just ignore it for right now. Now, we're going to begin by breathing in and inflating your arms and letting those elbows float forward a little bit. Like you're giving your elbows to somebody. They've grabbed your wrist and you give them your elbows. That's it. Now bring your wrists together with the back of your hands touching. And this expands your back, your upper back behind you. Draw the fingers up along your center line. And as you do, can you imagine now your curtain rod is lengthening even more up to your heart. And then expand that heart out and expand into the space between your chest and your hands. And you have to accommodate for this energy space. So your chest becomes soft and receiving. Your shoulder qua are soft and receiving. And now have a curtain rod, a vertical curtain rod, And then you can also have a curtain rod horizontally from qua to qua, shoulder qua, hip qua. And once you start to feel this structure, you can relax on it. You can release your muscles more and hang on that really tangible, wonderful structure. And then you become the cotton by releasing and softening your whole body. And your center line lengthens and, oh, that's beautiful. If you're able to let go, it starts to happen for you. Nice. Now what I would like for you to do is rest your shoulders, and just let them sink down. And as they fill with heaviness, you're lengthening the curtain rod in your neck all the way to the crown of your head. Your elbows now, pour the weight into your elbows. And keep the curtain rod connected and feeling your ball. And now we'll begin rotating. Go right into our push water. And try to keep this nice feeling. The more you rotate, the more you place your sensation in the lengthening of the curtain rod. And the softening of the cotton ball. That's beautiful. We'll do one more. And then we'll come together. Bring your hands together. Keep this energy feeling as you sink it down. Now let's do our position 2 for standing meditation. Just about 30 seconds. Reestablish your curtain rod. Hang your muscles. Soften your body like a cotton ball. If I came up and touched you, you would disappear. That's it, nice. Now you're going to raise your left hand and keep your right hand down, right where it is. So float the left hand. Then sink the elbow down. Let it be your kickstand, your anchor. Beautiful. Now you have this energy ball. Put your awareness there. Roll the ball. Maintain your curtain rod. And then sink the top hand, float the bottom one on your energy that's embracing you. It becomes more effortless. That's very nice. When you change hands, turn your mind off. Go into sensation. Feel one float and one sink. Good. Beautiful. Lots of really nice energy. And now come back to the center when you're ready. And gather that chi, put your mind in the space. And as your hands sink down, your curtain rod is lengthening. Yeah. Good. And now feel the cotton ball in you and around you. And imagine you're able to grow that in all directions. So you're so very soft. And now release. Feel the energy all around you and how you occupy the space. Sink the shoulders, the hands float. And let this high frequency energy, this healing energy, flow into your mind for peace and tranquility. And now place your mind into your heart, where we can discover and feel joy and gratitude. And then every cell in your body is opening and receiving this energy for healing, for health, and immunity.